Oregon defeats Oregon State in a rivalry matchup for the first time meeting since 1996 out of conference. Oregon wins this one 78-75 over the Beavers, and Oregon played much better down the stretch than they did at the beginning of the game. There were some early struggles for the Ducks in this one. They trailed most of the first half, and then when it came into the second half, Oregon was down 47-38 at halftime, and the Beavers were just dominant, more physical, more energy, more effort. I mean, just about everything you could think of in that range. They were better on that end. A 20-13 advantage, rebounding in the first half, and Oregon's defense, they couldn't do anything. Michael Rataj, I believe is how you say his name, 20 points, 10 rebounds, and the Lithuanian kid, I'm gonna butcher it, Litoris Leviticus. I apologize. These foreign names are difficult, but they gave Oregon some fits in this game, really trying to defend him. I did feel like the Lithuanian kid did have some issues with maybe some possible trap. Seemed like every time he got the ball and he picked up his dribble, he was, pivoting so much that you would begin to see the pivot foot start to move a little bit more, which kind of helped him get out of some sticky situations, but it was not called by the refs. Obviously, here we don't complain too much about the refs, but I do feel the need to mention some things from time to time. Overall, for Oregon in the first half, TJ Bamba was just not it. He was not what they needed. 0 for 6 shooting, missed opportunities. He had some pretty good defense, so you kept him out there for that. But Brandon Angel, he limited his impact offensively, though he contributed with some defense and some assists. His scoring was not really there as much as you would like. He was efficient, 3 for 3, 1 for 1. 3-point shooting, 8 points, but overall he plays 26 minutes in this game and doesn't shoot the ball all that much. He is efficient, as I said, but doesn't shoot the ball all that much. The second half comeback, how did it happen, right? Okay, they're down 47-37. How did they come back and win this one 78-75? I'll tell you how, and it's 2 words: Nate Biddle. Nate Biddle was dominant in the second half of this game. His standout performance, 23 points, 14 rebounds, especially after halftime, scored 9 of the Oregon's first 10 points in the second half. His defensive impact, 3 blocks, key rebounds in this game. When you look at what Biddle did in the second half, he had 17 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and he played nearly the entire second half. He only came out for 1 minute of play in the first half. He just wasn't as much. 6 points, 3 for 7, 0 for 3. That was really what was able to bring Oregon back in this game. His impact and what he was able to bring to the second half and play such a dominant amount of basketball. Jackson Shellstad in this game, once you got under about 5 minutes, somewhere in that range. I didn't keep track exactly when it started to occur, but he was crucial in the second half, getting key buckets, making clutch plays for this team. 15 points and 11 of them were in the second half. 2 pivotal 3-pointers and a layup that regained the lead late in the game. The layup that he got, it was crazy that he was able to hit that shot. Even outside the paint, he is fading to the side. I mean, this looks like something you put up in YMCA ball when somebody just doesn't really know what they're doing. But Shellstad, he put the ball up. He wanted to get the lead. He felt confident enough in himself, and honestly, it was good that he did because he made it. The game-changing layup with 30 seconds left in the game, putting Oregon up 76-73. Obviously, free throws down the stretch help them in this one, but I mean, when we look at the pros and the cons of Oregon in this game, right? Resilience under pressure. When they needed to get their defense right, they got their defense right. Toward the end of the game, they were suffocating to this Oregon State offense. They just were not able to do nearly as much. They were playing such tight defense. I mean, you had guys on other guys the entire way up the court. You didn't see that as much in the first half. You saw more of it in the second half. You could tell Dana Altman was really coaching his guys hard, and this is what you get, right? You have a Hall Hall of Famer coach and Dana Altman and what he's able to do, how he's able to motivate his guys and get them to play hard and play fast and play physical as well. That was another piece of what Nate Biddle was able to do in the second half, how physical he was willing to play and get in there and get the rebounds. Had almost as many rebounds in the second half himself than Oregon had in the entire first half as a team. It was huge. Defense overall, like I said, Oregon forced 10 turnovers, converting them into 14 points. Those turnovers, 9 of them happened in the second half. Only 1 turnover for Oregon in the first half, 9 turnovers in the second half. Like I said, suffocating. That was the word that I thought of when I saw this Oregon defense in the second half. It just looked like they had no room to breathe. They couldn't do anything. Now, there were some fouls. We'll talk about those a little bit later on. There were some fouls, but I think you are willing to give up those fouls because of the physical defense that they were playing. The defense just overall in the second half, holding Oregon State to just 28% shooting in the final 12 minutes. Overall in the second half, they were 7 for 25. They were 4 for 10 from the three-point arc, which honestly is not all that bad, but only 10 three-point shots. And then for Oregon State, got to hit your free throws. 10 of 15 in this game. Obviously, that's nothing on Oregon's doing. They were fouling them and they were getting them to the line. In this game, Oregon had only 12 free throws overall. I don't want to hear any excuses about, the refs didn't have it for him and stuff like that. This was a pretty fairly called game. I don't know if it was a well-called game, but this was a pretty fairly called game. And I think if you're trying to complain about it, you're just trying to look for an excuse on why you're upset your team lost at this point. Cons of Oregon's performance, the slow start. I mean, how are you going to come out slow in the beginning of this game? This is a team full of veterans. If this was a team full of some younger guys, I think I'd get it a little bit more, right? You come into a hostile environment, you're a little bit slower to it. Maybe you're nervous, but guys like Biddle, Shellstack, I mean, these are guys who've been playing basketball for a while now. You shouldn't need to hear the crowd and get kind of yelled at you and stuff like that to really get going in this game. But that's kind of what it took. In the second half was really when they began to take off. But overall, they struggled to establish offensive rhythm, falling behind due to missed shots and turnovers. I mean, in the first half, Oregon had overall 4 turnovers, and then in the second half only 3, so a slight improvement, but in the first half every turnover seemed like it was detrimental for Oregon in this one. And then, like I said, the 3 free throw discrepancy, which some will try to blame on the refs. I don't really think it was so much so. I think that Oregon was just playing such tight defense in the second half that you really saw those free throws mount up. And then you did have some fouling there at the end, a little bit of strategy there at the end. I felt like to try and help slow down what Oregon State was trying to do. Not saying I agree with it, but every time Oregon came to the basket, I mean, if they weren't trying to foul them, I don't know why you're playing defense like that. That's just me personally. But, trying to get Oregon State to the free throw line, because Oregon State, they were missing free throws, right? So you'd rather get them on the free throw line than have them going up for shots that are rather easy for them to make. Individual players in this game, who did well, who didn't do well. Like I said, Nate Biddle, second half, really, really well. First half, left some to be desired. Wasn't maybe so physical. Maybe needed some more out of him down low. But second half, turned it on. Great game. 3 blocks were crucial. And the rebounding was crucial as well. Like I said, Jackson Shellstad, second half, he just hero ball in the second half. Every time he got a pass, he was looking to shoot. He was looking to do something with it. He wasn't afraid of the moment. That's what you want to see out of the veteran, Jackson Shellstad. TJ Mamba, he struggled in the first half, 0 for 6 overall in the game. He did finish 0 for 6. But he did make 3 out of his 4 free throws. Those came in the second half, so he was making his free throws. Good to see there, but overall, you need more production shooting the ball out of TJ Mamba, especially if you're going to be playing him 23 minutes in this game. You had guys who only played 8 minutes or 7 minutes that scored more points than TJ Mamba did. Brandon Angel, kind of a mixed review if you ask me. There were some fans clamoring for him to be out of the game more. for Irwin Jr. in this one, which I understood a little bit, but I also thought Brandon Angel brought some different things to the table. Like I said, he was very efficient. He just wasn't really shot hunting. He wasn't really out there trying to score as much, which is fine. You got Shelstad, you got Biddle, who did a really good job in the second half, but overall, you need some more threats on this offense. Jackson Shelstad and Nate Biddle were the only two players that shot the ball more than 10 times in this game. But I will say Angel did have some key assists in this one. All right. The overall just conclusion of this game, I think that Oregon had a rough start starting the game, but when they really decided to turn it on in the second half, I really like Dana Altman's coaching to just tell them be as suffocating as possible. Even if you foul them, it's okay. Be as suffocating, play tight defense as much as you possibly can, because you could tell that's what he was trying to get out of his team. That really is the story of what happened in this one. Was Nate Biddle turned it on, played much more physical, and was much better down low. And the defense overall for Oregon was so much better in the first half, so much more challenging, so much more disruptive with what they were able to do. As I previously pointed out, 9 turnovers for Oregon State in the second half. You love to see it for Oregon in this one. Next week, we'll see if Oregon can just put together an entire game. We'll see. That's my recap for you. Let me know, Oregon fans, if you have any thoughts. Did you think a certain player played better than I thought? Did you feel like a certain player did worse and maybe didn't play as well as I said? Let me know. Do check us out on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. Next Thursday, we obviously won't have a show with it being Thanksgiving, but come back after that for a Thursday night show, 9 o'clock Eastern time, so 6 o'clock for you Duck fans who are out on the West Coast, and then at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Mondays, so 7 a.m. for you folks who are out there on the West Coast time. We have a power rankings show. I'm sure Oregon will be moving up a little bit. They're undefeated right now. As long as they stay undefeated, they'll be moving up a little bit. So come check us out. Me and Casual Big Ten Kent on Mondays, and then me and another other guest who is here from time to time. Don't know who it is yet, but we will be here on Thursdays. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Have a good one.